Time for a FoMoCo update. In the back here of the guest room, we have boxed middle assemblies. This is the 4 different types, either the standard or the fast grid charger, and then whether or not a heater is there. So each one of those boxes contains one of these. The 4 that are sitting out here are going to customers who already have the bottom tray. For various reasons, I've shipped some of those early, so those aren't boxed up yet. I still need to figure out how to package them because these actually ship bolted together, so it's the lower tray with the middle tray, and that kind of holds everything in place. And so without the lower tray, it's going to be harder to ship, but we'll figure out something. Yeah, so each one of these is basically all the mechanicals. It's all the mechanicals except for the actual PCB itself, the main motherboard PCB. I'm waiting on a new batch of those to come, and I'll build those up, and then that will be the remaining ones. So right now I have 15 kits finished, which I'll show you. I've got these 25 or so here. I've got these 4 sitting here, and then we've already installed a few of them in cars. So I think that adds up to 50. Over here we've got just kind of various in-work stuff. So these are completed daughter boards. You can see there's 4 different types of daughter board because we have the with and without heater, and then the standard and fast grid charger. I've mentioned before that you really can't upgrade after the fact because all of the wire harnesses are different for each one. And because of that, we end up having a lot of different wires. This is not even all of the wires. This is just the wires for the tray connections. So all 4 of these are the same. These are the heater with the fast grid charger, the upgraded one. But if you don't have this, this is the 9-pin connector for that version. Well, there's also a 7-pin version if you don't have the heater, but you still have the fast charger. And then there's a 4-pin version if you have the standard charger. And then there's a heater version. So you can see there's all kinds of different cables. And this is why I've kind of mentioned online that if I do another batch of these, it will only be the faster grid charger option. There will not be a standard option. Not enough people ordered the standard option in this first batch to even make it worth the time to develop. But whatever, they're there. I think in total, there were 2. I think there were 2 of the standard charger with a heater, and then there were like 6 of the standard charger, no heater. Just the cheapest possible option. Everything else was the faster grid charger. So if there is another batch, that will certainly be only these faster grid chargers. And you can see how these look on the back. Here's our faster grid charger with quite an elaborate wire harness. If I do make another batch of these, there will be another circuit board here that basically does a lot of the stuff that I've hand wired there and then, put together. It'll make that easier for me to build. It won't be any different electrically once it's all there. Here's the daughter boards. They're already rocked. This is all 50 of them minus the ones that are already boxed. All these various cables. Every kit comes with a roll of Super 33 Plus for the different IMA wire harness changes you have to make. All of these other harnesses are kind of included. This is stuff that comes in the kit. There's so many cables in this kit. This is the actual boxed kit itself that every kit will come with, and it's got all of the other hardware. So you can see all the cables that are in here. There's actually 2 different types of this kit too. So if you got modules from me and I already converted them, then I didn't include all the conversion stuff, the stickers and the circuit boards. If you got your own modules, then it'll be included. So one of the points I'm trying to get at here is I have way too many options for such a small volume product. So I need to streamline that a little bit. In the future, if I get more modules, I will not pre-convert them. You'll have to do that yourself. And that way I can make all of these kits the same. And also it took me forever to do that. I would much rather you do that than me. I don't make any money on those modules as it is, and so having to convert them and also not make any money on them yeah. Anyway, labor of love. Let's go out to the garage. Hey, Mr. Graham. All right, so now we're in the garage, and here I've got just a few of these modules left. They are all sold. No need to ask if I have any available. I do not. The list of people waiting for them is way more than I even have. Underneath here you can see these are the 15 completed modules. So there's a stack there that has a little jet because I need that roll to be able to move still, but it's stable enough. So these are the first 15. There were 6 of them that were the fast grid charger with the heater, 1 the slow grid charger with the heater, and then 4 of the no heater slow grid charger, and then under here is a couple more fast ones with heaters, and then I think it was 4 of the fast ones no heaters, and then I've got 22 boxed kits here. These kits are with and without the FoMoCo conversion, so if you have modules that you got from me that I already converted, that's going to be this box. There's 10 of them or so, and then these 10 here or so are going to be the ones without the conversion, so you'll be performing conversion yourself if you got your own modules. Got a few more boxes there, I just kind of ran out of room. So yeah, these are completely ready to ship. I just am not shipping them yet because I still need to do the installation videos, and I actually ended up buying a new computer. My primary computer that I've used forever now is about 15 years old, and it was a very fast computer, but it just cannot handle all the footage that we filmed a couple weeks back, and it's really getting laggy, and it was frustrating. So I finally bought a new Mac Pro or whatever, and yeah, it'll be here tomorrow actually, so I'll probably start editing those videos tomorrow. Here we've got the LI control boards. I've already shot the installation video for this as well, still haven't edited it, but we got somewhere around 50 of these, I don't know, maybe 45 here. Again, some of them are already installed, but yeah, here they are. They turned out really good. I know I've shown them before, but it's just a really clean product. I love how clean the front panel is on it. I made these stickers. So these stickers are templates for the 3 buttons you add. So you have the joystick, the mode switch, that's a 3-position 0, 1, and 2 switch, and then you have a push button to like store things or whatever. So these are on adhesive labels, and I put some tape over them just so they don't get rubbed off or whatever. And then you drill all these holes out. So you basically mount this wherever you're mounting it. So say you're mounting it to the top of the Lambda Gen here, which you're not, yeah, you'd be mounting it to like the center console or wherever. You basically attach these here, and I have a video showing you how to do it. I haven't edited it again, but anyway, it makes drilling the holes really, really simple. And then after you drill the holes, you kind of cut and connect them, like connect the dots with a razor blade. And it worked really well when I did it on the one in my car. The first one I kind of eyeballed, didn't quite get it right, and another Insight member didn't even have a center console, so he now has my first one, which is a rough fit, and these will be easier to do. This is the master FoMoCo kit here, so it will include, of course, one of those, and then some various other cables. This actually won't be in there because every FoMoCo kit already has the LI control on it. Almost everyone who ordered the FoMoCo kit also ordered LI control. I think there were 3 people who did not. And so I've basically included this because it's just easier to install it before you install the LiBCM hardware in the car. After the fact, you basically have to remove it all. So anyway, the 3 people who didn't get it might have been 4, they'll have the cable already, so that if they do want to add it, so that one actually won't be in here anymore. But yeah, just some other cables, and here's the black joystick that I ended up using. The gray one is discontinued, and so me and I think Isaac have the 2 gray ones that are in existence. I think there was still one left on DigiKey, but it's like $130. So anyway, just some various labels and oops, what else? Yeah, some other labels. Oh yeah, there's 2 wires in the floor harness that are the same color, like black, yellow, I think, maybe yellow, black, whatever. And so it's really important they get those correct, because one of them is 12 volts and the other one's a 5-volt signal. But anyway, yeah, this is how I make the master kits. Just make sure everything gets in there. I still need to do this part. One thing I'll be asking people as I'm finalizing their orders is basically how long they want this cable. If you have the OEM console and you're going to put it where I want it to be, then that'll be an option. And if you want it to be longer, you'll just have to tell me how long you want it in feet. But yeah, these already have all the firmware programmed on them, and these will actually have these already have the bootloaders programmed on them, and they will have the firmware on them out of the box. So LiBCM does not. These will. So unless you want to update the firmware, you won't need to actually install it on here. There will be tons of firmware updates in the future. The firmware that I will be shipping initially, I've been using now for probably 6 or 7 months with almost no changes. It works well enough. There are still some weird corner cases, and then of course I really hope the community makes their own drive modes. So I'm going to make it really easy to have modular drive modes, so you can set the mode switch, which is this one right here. You can see how the outline is. You can basically set mode 0, 1, and 2 to do whatever you want. There will be kind of a default behavior, but you can change it to whatever you want. Right now, 0 is just OEM signals pass through. 1 is it's kind of a blended mode, and then 2 is full manual. So in the blended mode, the car will still auto start and auto stop. Here, it's just completely manual control, so you're controlling it with the joystick. I only use mode 2 right now. When the car, when the ECM starts the engine and I don't want the engine on, I'll put it here in mode 2, and then I'll regen auto stall, and that way it won't turn the engine back on. And then otherwise, I'm pretty much always using mode 1 here. One neat thing is in either modes 1 or 2, I'm turning the DC-DC converter on after just a couple second delay. So if you turn the key on and then just walk away, the 12-volt battery will charge, which I really like. And of course, this is all user configurable. So I'm really hoping people make really fun modes for it. The firmware it's going to be it already is very modular. It will be made even more modular to where you can basically say, I want mode 0 to do this. I want mode 1 to do that. You can write your own modes. So basically on the LI control, this is basically the last thing I need to do the last hardware thing I need to do before I ship these kits out, is I need to build these at least 15. I'll probably just build all 50. Most of what I'm doing right now is I'm just building all 50 of something, because it's much easier to build 50 of something than to build 15 and then 35 later on, where you have to set stuff up. So for example, these batteries sitting up here are left over from the tests I just finished. Every one of these, when I get it finished, I assemble everything together on the bench here, and then I go through all these tests, and I actually need these batteries because the grid charger can dump 6.5 amps, and I don't have a programmable load that can handle 6.5 amps, so I dump it in the battery, which is fine. But anyway, setting these tests up, tearing them down takes a while. Unfortunately, I'll have to tear this one down after the 15 and rebuild it, because I don't have the other circuit boards. I'm missing the last 35 motherboards, so those will be here tomorrow or the next day. And basically, until they get here, I'll start working on the video tomorrow or making these cables. And then once they get here, I'll build them up so I can just finish the hardware on all of them. Of course, before I do that, I will hopefully finish the videos so I can ship these out. The goal is still looking good. It's still looking like I'll be shipping probably 40 or 45 of these before I leave in September. I'll be in Greece all of September, so any of them that I don't ship by September 3rd won't be shipping until October. I'm actually going to be going to Austin on August 14th for a few days, and so that's some time chunk out. And then I also have a little bit of consulting stuff I'm doing, probably a few days as well. So realistically, today it's August 1st. I'm going to edit these videos. I thought I'd be done with that by now. I haven't even started because I ended up again just buying a new machine because my old computer just couldn't handle I don't even know how 15 hours of video we took. I don't actually remember what it is, but yeah. So anyway, videos coming along soon. Hopefully as soon as tomorrow if that machine gets here. And yeah. Otherwise, it's actually been really nice. It's kind of been clearing out. Once these boxes are gone, of course, it'll be better. But I have so much more room than I've had. It's been, pushing these over the hill, getting them into the box here has been a challenge. And I commandeered that guest bedroom about, 3 weeks ago. And without it, I wouldn't have had room because, again, I've shown it before, but this is a very small space. And it's quite full. But, yeah, it's coming along and still having fun doing it. Yeah, and the last thing I'll mention is that I still have some firmware things I need to do. FoMoCo works, but I have some guardrails I need to put in. One of the beta guys, I guess alpha guys, who had the kit put in a few weeks ago, had some odd P codes, and one of them wasn't ultimately related to LiBCM, but certainly harder to troubleshoot. So I just want to kind of minimize that. And the final note on that is, if the first batch of people here, I'm going to still be here for a couple weeks, 3 weeks after these ship. that second batch, I'll probably be shipping them like September 1st or 2nd, and then I'll be hopping on an airplane and I'll be in Greece, so I will only have my laptop. So if you get one of the second batches and your car is like a daily driver and it has to work and you don't have a backup, you probably don't want to install it on September 2nd, because if anything goes wrong, I'm not going to be able to help you for a month. So, you know, keep that in mind. This is certainly a pretty major invasive surgery on your car. I'm sure you've all seen it, and I'm sure it's going to be very dark, but you were replacing all of that, right? Lots of things are changing here. If you have the 60S, you're having to modify your DC-DC converter. You've got to modify the IMA wire harness. If you're adding the LI control, you're cutting in. All I'm trying to say, there's a lot that's changing. So don't think that you're going to be able to install this in a day or an evening. This is a full weekend project, and even after that, it might not work. You know, in my case, it works. In my case, the alpha customer that we did it here in the garage to film the videos on a couple weeks back, his is mostly working. He has, I think, he has a persistent P code that I actually think is related to something else, but we need to look at it. So all I'm trying to say is you might get P codes. Worst case, you know, you might just be driving without an IMA until I get back in October if you choose to install a kit that I've sent you like the day I'm leaving to leave for a month. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. Everything's going well. It's just taking time. I have plenty of time, so eventually it will all happen and my garage will be empty and I can do LiBCM or something else, or maybe exit beta at some point. That's always still a goal. Thanks for watching.